the plan was to meet him at, this is when we got to go to Banter, which is that place that I originally wanted to go to. So we went to Banter, and we get there, and Ramee's like running 20 minutes late. He said he's driving. I'm like, why are you driving? And you're like, well, he has to come from somewhere else. So he drove, and we met him, or we get to this place called Banter. We are sitting in the restaurant, and he's like running late, and we're like, where are you? He's like, I'm here outside. And we're like, no, you're not. And we go outside. I don't see him. I talked to the waiter, and I was like, our friend says he's here. I don't know why I asked the waiter this. I was like, our friend says he's here, but like we don't see him. And he's like, oh, does your friend know there's 2 locations? And we're like, oh my God, there's 2 locations. He's like, yeah, make sure he's on the one at this street. And I was like, what? So I go outside, or I text him like, hey, like, Ramee, are you at this one? And he's like, yeah, I am. And I was like, oh. So I look outside again, he's just standing there. And I was like, oh, and I run up and I hug him. And then he's exactly the same in person as you'd imagine him to be. I think I'm an inch taller than him, to be honest. Well, he's it's like the same as April Ramee version. We're the same height. Okay. And it was great. He came in. I think he was a little nervous. He will never admit it, but I think he was probably a little nervous, you know? So we just, we're just talking. And I was like, this is weird. Like, we're just like sitting here, talking. He sat across the table from us, and it's great. He's not shy. He's definitely not shy. You know what he does say way too much? He goes, W take. I've never heard him say this before, but I don't know. Does he do this on stream? He says W take after everything, particularly after everything Myung was saying. W take. Like, Ramee, what the hell? Oh, he does? Okay. Yeah. Anyways, so we eat at this place. It's really good. We're just having pretty much like, it was good. We got to talk about a lot of things like you don't talk about on stream, more so like family stuff, or like more like just like those stuff, like that those kind of stuff, and things that are like more personal. I've realized I never to really talk to Ramee off stream. So I was like, oh, I can actually ask this question, or like this or that. So that was nice. We decided to go to this place called Little Island, and he drove us. Oh God. Ramee drove us, and he parked in some parking lot, and he was telling us how the day before he had drove into a mailbox, and so his headlight was just broken. And I was like, huh? He's like, yeah, I got distracted. I drove into a mailbox. And I'm like, yo, you want me to drive? Maybe I'll drive your car. And he actually was going to let me, but I was like, it's New York. If this was California, like, I don't know New York driving. So I was thinking about it. Myung's like, yeah, let's walk. We should walk, guys. So we ended up getting his car, and the guy pulls out, and the headlights are like actually broken. Like, one is just the glass is just cracked, and the light is off. And I was like, wow. That's crazy. You are a terrible driver. It's not roleplay. He's just a bad driver. No, he wasn't mad. Well, I couldn't tell if he was bad or if the New York City drivers around him were just rude. Like, there was one guy, like, I couldn't tell. He just said, like, everyone in New York is like this, because one guy was like yelling at us through his window, like road rage, like, what are you doing? And he's like, no, that's just New York. NYC, like, all the drivers are like that. And I'm like, okay. So maybe, is it both? Okay, yeah. So I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. He's like, no, you can't be sorry, okay? That's like an LA thing. You have to be, like, New York, nobody cares about anybody else. You have to be rude. You have to, and I was like, okay. So I started yelling at the, I was like, screw you. He's like, yeah, that's much better. So, there's that. So then we went, I have Prius driving mindset for sure. Yes. So then parked into the parking lot. It was really hot and humid, but we went to this really nice place. It was like this island that is, if you Google Little Island in New York City, there's like this island, and it's like grassy and stuff. So we walk up to that place, and I don't even know. We're just like, it felt like we were just exactly the same. Can't remember what we're talking about. Just random things. And then at one point, I know I say that the Empire State Building is the 7th tallest building in New York. And he goes, keep your voice down when you say stupid shit like that. And I was like, what? He's like, dude, we're in public. And I was like, what are you saying? And he's like, the Empire State Building is the tallest building. Like, I think he says in the world, right? I can't remember if he said it. It was that dumb, but he said the Empire State Building is the tallest building in the world. And I was like, what? He's like, shh. Like, people, like, I can't be associated with you when you say dumb shit like that. I was like, Ramee. He's like, how much you want to bet? And I was like, how much I want to bet that the Empire State Building is the 7th tallest building in New York. He's like, shh. Quiet. Dude, we just looked this up. We literally just looked this up with Tarek, right? And we start Googling, and Myung's like looking it up, and you can see like Ramee looking at the phone. He's like, what? No way. And we're like, yep, the Freedom Tower, all this stuff. Anyway, so he was wrong. I was right. What's new? Okay. What else? We're just walking by places, commenting on things. We sit down on a bridge and we end up talking about RP for a bit. We talk about CG stuff for a bit. We talk about, I don't know, moving to New York. Same old. It was great vibes. Ramee's literally, I don't know, it was just good times. It was fun. And then we end up, what did we do? Oh, me and Myung had to make our flight. So we had to leave. And then what did we do? Oh yeah, it was so cute. Ramee, when we were saying goodbye, he like was hugging us, and he like, we went to Starbucks Reserve. Sorry, went to the Starbucks Reserve, got food there, hung out a little bit more, and then when we were leaving, we had to go. We're hugging, and then like Ramee's like eyes, he like starts like tears are like welling up in his eyes, and we're like, wait, are you crying? And he's like, stop, and we're like, wait, seriously? Like, that's so cute. Like, it was really cute. He started like tearing up, and he's like, didn't want to see. He's like, no, like seriously, I have stuff in my eye. And we're like, dude, Ramee, Ramee. He's like, yeah, I mean, this is like, I don't really have friends around here as much. Live my life in RP, so it's really like nice. And he's like, but no one will believe you. We're like, I'm telling this on stream. He's like, no one's gonna believe you, not for a bit. Anyway, cried a little bit. We hugged him, and then we said goodbye. He's a soft boy. Ramee was crying. And then we said goodbye. And I filmed the end. And I was like, bye, Ramee, don't cry. And he's like, I'm not crying. I was like, bye. And so then we got picked up by our driver. Boom. Went to the airport. Oh, it wasn't spit. But at one point he was talking, and I saw spit fly out of his mouth. And I had an intrusive thought. I was like, oh my God, it's real. I didn't say anything. But I was like, oh my God. He's literally spitting. I didn't say anything. Yeah. But it was like not a lot. It was just like, you know, happens. But I was like, oh my God, I'm witnessing it. I'm in the splash zone. It was great. It was just a great trip.